Hello, good people. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday. If you are catching a replay, welcome. Type in replay in the chat. If you're catching a replay, type in replay in the chat. Your girl Janice Fredericks is live. I am live. I'm live. Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. I don't mess my camera up. Give me a second, y'all. All right. Am I back? I'm back. Okay, so let's get into it. We are going to watch episode 7 tonight. So tonight's the watch party. Whoop whoop. I'm super excited because we're watching episode 7 tonight, and it is about beauty supply once again. So if you guys have been watching, we've had like three main segments. One about beauty supply, of course. One segment about salon owners and stylists, and then one segment about beauty brands, all black owned. So black owned beauty supply, black stylists, black owned hair salons, and black owned beauty brands. So our segments have been diverse, right? Diverse, all black owned, everything, of course, but diverse topics. So I want to know from you guys in the comments, are you enjoying the mix of topics that we have on the show? Let me know in the comments. So before we get into the watch party, if you are new to the page, welcome. My name is Janice Fredericks. I am the retail genius online, and I teach Black men and Black women how to break into this $17 billion beauty supply industry and create their own six-figure beauty supply businesses, right? So brick and mortar, online, all of that, right? I teach you guys all of that. And I also teach you how to grow and scale your business into multiple locations. So many of my clients have more than one location. I've been doing this for over 5 years. My own journey started over a decade ago, where I started my own stores and operated those four stores for 8 years, and then retired from operating a store to consulting full time. So teaching you guys the blueprint that I had created over the 8 years that I was operating my business in New York City, which is the toughest city to operate a business. So if you can do it in New York, guess what? You can do it anywhere. And that was proven true because I took the blueprint of everything that I did with my New York stores and I gave it to people in Florida. I gave it to people in LA. I gave it to people in Las Vegas. I gave it to people in Atlanta. I gave it to people in Texas. And they took the blueprint and they ran with it. So a lot of my clients have multiple stores. A lot of the people that were with me from the beginning, some of them are on to their second and third location, which I'm really, really proud to say. So that is what I do. And I will be kind of going through a lot of that next month during our boot camp weekend. So if you guys are new to this page, every single year I have my beauty supply boot camp weekend that is held in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's 3 days with myself and my team. And it's 3 days of basically us teaching you how to start and scale your own beauty supply business all in 3 days. So I literally take my 9-month program, we condense all of the information down into 3 days so that you guys can get the high level information to actually get started in your beauty supply live with me helping you guys actually looking at the work, looking at the stuff, helping you work through things, business plan, forecasting, projecting, sales projections, all of the things that you need to have in place to actually get started in beauty supply in a strategic way, not just slapping a store together and freestyling it, right? But doing this in a very strategic way, in a very business way, because we want to make sure that your store is a success and that it does not fail within the first 6 months. Because how many of you guys know that Black owned beauty supply stores do have a high failure rate? Do have a high failure rate. A lot of you guys know this because you guys are a part of so many other, Black beauty supply Facebook groups where every single week someone is liquidating their entire store. And so we don't want to be a part of that statistic because that's very disheartening. And we don't want to lose our investment. We want to be successful in this industry because it is possible. We have the receipts here in the bootcamp program to show you guys that it's possible to be successful and to scale and grow your stores into a multiple six-figure store with multiple locations. So that is the purpose of that 3-day weekend. And so if you did not get your tickets yet, we are closing registration down in less than a week. A week from tomorrow, actually, we're closing registration down. So you'll have a week to get your ticket if you don't have your tickets. That's if we don't sell out before that time, which I'm hoping that we do sell out before that time. So if you go to beautysupplybootcampweekend.com, the website is on the bottom of the screen here, beautysupplybootcampweekend.com. You can go ahead and get your tickets for the weekend. It is worth the trip to Atlanta. If you are not in Georgia, it is worth the trip. I will be coming from New York. But yeah, all my North Carolina, South Carolina people, all my Tennessee people, all my Florida people, y'all can drive down. And even if you are not close to Georgia, it is worth the plane ticket, y'all, because this 3 days will change your entire life. The 3 days will completely change your entire life. And I just had a meeting today with my ops person and my event manager. And the rest of the things that I had just randomly told them I want to include in this weekend is going to blow your mind. So you just got to be in the room. If you guys missed the live that I did yesterday with Dante Stephens, that is going to be our MC for this weekend. I hired a whole mindset coach to come out and MC our weekend, because how many of you guys know that mindset has to do with how successful you're going to be in business? It took me a couple of years to realize that my mindset and the way that I approach business has a lot to do with the speed to my success. And so I have him coming out and seeing this entire weekend, because I want to make sure that we not only get the real technical information about opening and operating a beauty supply store, but we get that mindset piece all together too. Because the two put together, you're going to be unstoppable. But I ain't going to talk too much about it, because tonight is our watch party. But again, if you didn't get your tickets, I don't want you to be on the outside looking in, watching the replay videos, watching our reels and all that, wishing you were there. I want you there. I am personally inviting you to come out to this weekend and get in the room, because it is going to be life-changing. And I only do this once a year, y'all. Okay, so beautysupplybootcampweekend.com. For the first time ever, we have payment plans available that start as low as $124. Now, if you don't got $124 to invest in yourself so that you can create a six-figure business, there's something wrong. So I'm going to need y'all to get this together, y'all. Okay? Because your six-figure beauty supply store is waiting for you. It's waiting for you at this weekend. All right? So I want to switch gears. Real quick, because our watch party's tonight, and I'm really excited about this episode. This is actually our last episode that has to do with beauty supply. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. All right. With me starting like almost a decade ago, they were really, really ruthless. Like if you did not answer the phone with Yamaseyo, like the native Korean language, they would literally hang up on you.
The myth is she just stalling so she could charge you. No, I'm trying to keep your hair on your head.
If I have to turn my head like this to read your packaging, I'm not gonna buy it.
When you come in, stop coming in and telling us how much to sell our stuff for.
Everyone says their hair is 4C because they're affiliated with difficulty.
The U.S. has terrible regulations for cosmetics. Black women historically have these issues with fibroids and uterine problems, and we're trusting you, and now you're putting chemicals in it?
We decided to create a show that would give consumers that behind the scenes of what Black-owned beauty supply store owners go through, what Black-owned brands, Black-owned salons go through, to have a conversation with experts in the field, helping Black entrepreneurs break into the beauty supply industry. Let's jump into the world of Black beauty. My name is Janice Frederick Spell, the Retail Genius. I'm your host. And one question I get asked often is, why are there so many Korean-owned beauty supply stores? So what you may not know is that this actually dates back to the 1960s, where there was a Korean-owned manufacturer who exported hair and wig pieces to the United States so much that he was able to create a ban on the exportation of wig and hair pieces in Korea. 6 months later, after that ban was placed, the United States followed through on the same exact ban. making the exportation of wigs and hairpieces absolutely illegal in other countries other than South Korea. This is where the creation of the beauty supply store that we know today was created, because the Korean manufacturers needed a place to sell their hair pieces and their wig pieces and also beauty supplies. Today, we are joined by beauty supply store owners Donna Heath Gonzalez and Aurela Jumbisi. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what is it like operating a Black-owned beauty supply store in an industry that is so dominated by Koreans?
For me, it can be very challenging at times because I have to make sure I position myself to source everything I need for my customers from the Koreans. And at the same time, it's also challenging to make sure that the Black customers are here supporting my store.
How about you, Aurelie?
So when we decided to get into the beauty supply, I did not know any Black-owned beauty supply business, and so and talking to a friend of mine, she referred another friend of hers that is actually a Black manufacturer of bundles, human hair bundles. She gave me his contact. I contacted the man, and he was nice enough to refer me to the group on Facebook that everybody's kind of part of. And that's where I found out that there were so many Black-owned beauty suppliers out there. And so that alone was definitely a little motivating, because, you know, knowing that it is a Korean-owned industry, you can't really talk to these people because they won't talk to you. And so you want to get in, but you have no way of knowing where to start. So being a member of that group, I was able to definitely connect with other Black Black beauty supply store owners. I went to meet them and kind of learn about their journey. They provided some good information, and so that got rid of the intimidation, because it can be very intimidating knowing that you're going in an industry that is dominated by a different race, and a race that doesn't really like you or appreciate you.
Right. So I remember when I first got started, I would try to call different vendors just to get information, get accounts. And because I wasn't able to, speak the native language, they would absolutely hang up on me. It was one of the most humiliating things that I experienced as a store owner at the time. So what are some of the things that stand out to you in your experiences being a Black-owned beauty supply store in this industry?
So feeling disrespected as a business owner, I thought the disrespect was going to stop at being a consumer, right? So now you're trying to be a business owner, and you're talking to people that are still rude to you. They refuse to even answer your calls and open accounts for you because you don't have the minimum required amount of money that they required. Also knowing that they can just get away with so much because it's an industry that's not regulated. Right. So it makes it very difficult. And so, yeah, because unfortunately I have to say that I'm originally from Africa, right? And so Koreans, Africans, we all do business the same way. You can kind of be rude. So that really not faze me. It didn't faze me, and I think that's one of the reasons why I have been so successful in building relationship with them, because I'm very patient with them. I don't give them attitude, and once they see that, they're more willing to work with you because they can really get to your nerves. So yeah.
Can I say something about what she said about attitude? So for me, over the years, the approach I took towards them, there are 3 words: attitude, approach, and appearance. If you can master those, then that will help you build a relationship with them. So your attitude towards them has to be different. It's not like you're trying to be somebody else, but we're stepping on a different turf. And at the end of the day, we need them because they're the ones that are creating the products that our customer needs. So at the end of the day, we have to find a way to get to them, to embrace them so we can get what we want, so our Black customers will keep coming to our store. Because if we don't have it, they're not going to come to our store. So attitude plays a big part in it.
Right. And one thing that I tell my clients all the time too is don't come into the conversation with this attitude of you are the enemy. Because at the end of the day, it's we're coworkers, we are working for these customers and we kind of have to work together.
And so to have a collaborative relationship is something that you want to aim for. But sometimes that's impossible, especially with the older generation sales reps. And, I know you've had quite a few of those, and they just don't even want to have any type of conversation with you at all. But I have found some success with like the Korean Americans and, understanding that, we are here, this is happening, and just having that conversation with them, like, we're going to have these products in our stores. If you sell it to me or not, I'm going to find a way to get it, especially with the hair accounts, because they don't want us to have it. And they create these rules, these radius rules that are totally bogus. So from our viewers who may not know, when we try to get accounts for our beauty supply stores, a lot of times the main reason why they don't want to open accounts for us is because there's another beauty supply store close by us that has the same account. And because they want to give exclusive rights to that store, they won't open accounts for us. But we all know that this is false information. This is not true, because there could be 2 Korean-owned stores on the same block. In New York City, there's like 4 beauty supply stores on the same block, and they all have the same products, right? And there's no radius, clearly there's no radius rule for them. But for Black-owned beauty supply stores, they're implementing these rules to us, and it makes it hard for us to get accounts for our beauty supply stores.
I think that for them it's okay because it's one of theirs, and they know at the end of the day, the Black customers is going to go to their store anyway. Even if they have to run from one store to the next and compare prices, it's going to happen. But for us, it's a little different. And that's why I would advise people that when you're going to open up a beauty supply store, don't go close to someone else that's already existed, especially a Korean, because then you also have to put more effort in with your customers to buy from you than going to the Korean store. Or why go compete with one of your own? Don't go into business think you're going to run another Black person out of business. If you, like, for me, like a lot of the brand, the hair brand, because I've built a good relationship with them, so that I've had one that protect my territory from another Black store that was opening up, right? And if you go sometimes within 20 miles, you're asking for trouble. It's hard, then you can't get the brands that you need, and then you don't have them in your store. Because for me, there was one store that was going to open up close to me, and when they called this one account, and that was someone that used to work for me, left and was going to open up a store, they didn't give it to her. My salesman called me and said, Donna, somebody is about to open up a store in the area, and I told them that we can't sell them because you're already our exclusive dealership. You have exclusive dealership contract with me. And then it didn't happen. So I just think that we also have to be mindful where we are positioning ourselves, because that could create a problem. And I know over the years, since I started 14 years ago, there's a lot more beauty supply stores that are opening up. And that's a great thing. But I'm just saying that make sure you do a market analysis and know who's around you, and don't go so close to them. Because for someone that, especially if another Black person has a store there and they have a good relationship with the brands, they're not going to sell it to the other person unless you two can collaborate and pool your money together and let that other person buy and you split it. Then it's going to be harder for you to get the products in your store that the customer needs. So the radius thing is very, very important, and we have to take that seriously, because it will literally run us out of business in no time if you mess with that radius.
Yeah. And also, I think the other challenge is the fact that they don't sell things to us at the same price as they sell the Korean counterpart. And so that, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to get over that issue, because that's the reason why we're having to sell our retail it at a higher cost than the Korean stores. But I think if we work together, and pool our money together and order in volume, because what I found is at the end of the day, these people just want money, right? So if you buy in volumes, they will be willing to sell to you pretty much the same price as they're selling to the Korean stores. So the pricing is also an issue, because we order stuff. This is the first time. I'm thinking this is probably the only industry where you order stuff and you're not quite sure how much it's going to be, because you don't know the price, because they don't publish their price list. And so you have no idea how much it's going to cost you until you get the invoice and you look at it, you're like, oh wow, this is over my budget, and they don't like it when you come back and say, okay, can you remove this? Can you take this? So it's very difficult to do business with them. But once you understand how they think and how you're able to make it work. But you have to be very patient and and just be very patient with them, because they make it very difficult for us to succeed in the industry.
So, Aurelia, you make good mention about the pricing, and we talked quite a bit about how that's the number one complaint for us as Black-owned beauty supply stores. So, what are some of like the examples that you've seen within your own store with the pricing? Like how do we know? Because I know for me, I realized that there was a difference in pricing where I would sell my product and the competitor was actually selling it at the wholesale cost that I got it for. So for you, when was that like aha moment?
Same thing, same experience, going into their store and seeing how much they're selling the same thing that you're selling.
Almost at the same price where you purchased it from. Yeah.
And so it's like there's no way they are able to make money, selling these things, at cost. So that's definitely what made me think that, they definitely have, buy it at a lower price. And also attending that trade show that I told you about, I found out that, they have an association where they actually pool their money together, they buy in volume. Again, come back to the volume thing. They buy in volume and they're able to get it at a much lower cost than, you as an individual business trying to buy the stuff. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that for a second. You went to a trade show, right?
Yes.
And because of the viewers may not be aware that there's trade shows, there's expos, there's associations. Talk a little bit about your experience.
So I had one of my sales rep that came by, and because that's how they do, they come to you and so they show you what's trending and if you want to place an order and stuff. So they came by and they told me about the trade show that was happening here in Georgia, and they invited me to come. So I said, okay, yeah, I want to find out more about, I'm in the industry, so it just makes sense for me to be there. So I went to the trade show. When I got there, I found out that there was a gate fee, which I didn't know. I just thought it was just open to all business owners. And so it was either pay $50 to get in or pay $100 to become a member. And so I wanted to understand what a membership benefits was for members. And so the lady explained to me that as a member, you are able to buy things at a much lower cost. She even gave me an example. If something costs $5,
wow.
you're able to get it for $1 or $2, right? So I said, oh yeah, it sounds like that's what I want to do. I don't want to pay $50. I'm much rather pay $100 now. So I wrote a check for $100 to become a member, and I didn't hear anything back after I came home from the show. Months went by, didn't hear anything. So I was thinking, okay, because I know the way they do business is completely different, Right. So I was like, okay, did they forget about me? I don't know who to reach out to. But I ended up getting the number, and I was able to call to find out what was taking them so long to send me the information, membership information. And so that's when I was told that, oh, we actually returned your check. I'm trying to understand, why are you returning my check? I wanted to be a member. Oh no, this is a non-profit organization and you have to be Korean to be a member. And so I told the member, that's discrimination. You can't discriminate. And so he said, no, it's not discrimination. It's a nonprofit, so they can decide, the bylaws and who becomes a member and who is not a member. And so he told me, nothing stops you guys from creating your own association. And so this way, you guys can pull your money together and get the same benefit that we get. So. Yeah, so that's how I was able to find out about that.
As far as the pricing, this is when I finally experienced it. It was there was this particular brand of hair, like I always buy it, right? I usually sell it for like $20 for one pack, human weaving hair. But then like a couple of my customers tell me like, Donna, the Chinese man is selling his stuff for I think $14.99. I'm like, really? So I started to get aggravated. So I call my salesman. I didn't even bother to go to the other store. I called my salesman. I'm like, you're the salesman for this other store too. So what price are you giving it to him for him to be selling it for $15? I cannot sell it for $15. You're selling it to me for $11.
Right.
And that's when he said, Donna, we have 3-tier pricing. I don't know if it's true. He said we have 3-tier pricing. You have bottom price, which is what Koreans get because they buy in volume. Then you have middle prices is for non-Koreans like Arabs or so that have more money and can buy in volume, and then for the rest of it, it's like us if we can't buy in volume. So, and I find out that he was selling it to this other store for $7.50 wholesale price. So I said, well, how can I get it for that price then? Because it doesn't make any sense. Either I do that or I'm not going to order from you. So right ahead, he said, Donna, if you can buy a case of it, I can give it to you for the price. So I just went ahead and ordered a case, and it was 50 pieces in the case, and ordered the case because I also have terms with them. So if you have terms with them, it's easier. If it's 30, 60, 90, or 75 days, it's easier for you to get bottom pricing.
Right.
And I would say if you can't do it by yourself, if you don't have the terms and you can't do it by yourself, try to collaborate with another Black-owned beauty supply store person, so you guys can do that together. So you all of us can have bottom prices, and then we kind of like competing with them, because then the prices would be the same and we wouldn't have to struggle so hard. So I think a part of it, we do need to collaborate, pull our resources together, because at the end of the day, people are brand stricken regardless of what they're brand stricken, even with hair. Right. And there's just certain you sell a lot of Milky Way. A lot of people think Milky Way is the best, but it's not like it's the best. Every brand has, a line that's pretty good and is comparable to others. So if someone else can't get the Milky Way because of the territory, the radius that they are, it's good if you can pull together, buy a whole case so you get the bottom price, because sometimes also they do, when they have to break down a case, that's when they actually charge you more. So right. I just think that the three-tier pricing, it does affect our bottom line, it does affect our profit, and it does affect our store being there for a long time, because if we can't meet that bottom pricing, it's going to create a shortfall in our inventory, and as a result, customers will just come and leave because we don't have what.
Yeah. One thing, now that you mentioned the three-tier price, now it's kind of funny, was I had a sales rep, and I spoke a little bit about like the American, Korean sales reps and how they were a little bit more flexible. So I would usually call and ask for like the American Korean reps, because I knew that I could be able to have a conversation and tell them about my vision about the business. And once I did that, they were like, you're cool. I'm going to give you the Korean price. Someone actually said that to me. Oh, wow. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I just love what you're doing here. So, I'm going to start giving you Korean prices. And actually, we became really, really good friends. And he actually helps me to help my clients get accounts in their stores. And so it was really all about like creating those relationships. And one other thing that I'm glad you mentioned, Donna, was about how we sell, right, and the terms. So for our viewers who may not be familiar with that expression, what are terms? Break that down.
The terms, basically, they have terms like COD check, right? COD check 30, 60, 90. So basically,
cash on delivery. Right,
cash on delivery, but you don't have to pay them. They allow you to post date the check until your bill is due 30 days later.
Which helps your cash flow.
Help your cash flow, so you have time to move that product.
So both of you mentioned collaborating with other Black-owned beauty supply stores so that you can make the larger orders, right? And so another thing that our viewers may not know is that they have huge minimums for Black-owned beauty supply stores to even get started. Some $10,000, $5,000.
She can go actually for $50,000.
$50,000,
and that was after I was 2 years in the business. So I already had the other accounts,
right?
And I wasn't even expanded yet, so I was still with one side. And I told him, the rep, I said, "There's no way. I don't even have space for it. Where am I going to put all of that?"
Right.
And so he was like, "Well, for Georgia, that's what the minimum is, 50,000." I said, "Well, it's not fair, because you can't have the same minimum for a 20,000 square foot store that you have for 1,300 square. It doesn't make sense, right?"
Right.
And so we went back and forth, and finally, with the Black Lives Matter movement again, they felt the pressure, and that's how I was able to get my account. And so they were able, and I was able to negotiate it down to 10K. So we went from 50K to 10K. So you can really, negotiate with these folks, and if you're consistent enough and persistent, they will work with you.
Right. So I loved how you mentioned already the fact that due to the Black Lives Matter movement, you saw a shift in the way they did business with us. And I saw the same shift with a lot of our clients as well. So talk a little bit about that shift and what you saw when the Black Lives Matter movement was at its peak.
So there was a shift both on the consumer side and
Right.
on the supplier side, right? So on social media, again, social media really helped because people put a lot of pressure on them. I remember we got together. It
Pressure,
was
pressure,
about,
pressure.
yes, it was about 10 of us. This is when collaboration is good.
Yeah.
10 black, beauty supply owners. We got together and we created the flyer because she can go ahead on the page that how they support the Black Lives Matter movement. We're like, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, you
don't
don't.
open accounts for us.
That's
You
a
don't want us to make
bald-faced lie.
money. Yes. And so we created a flyer with the top three brands in the industry, and so we're just telling folks, sharing it on social media. It went viral, how these top three doesn't really do anything for black people, but yet they say they support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think that's when I even got a call from the rep, like, okay, so where are you located again? What do you
Right.
need? And so that's how the
So
conversation
they actually
started.
reached out to you
They
after
did.
that.
They did. And I had been trying 2 years to open an
Wow.
account, and yeah. And so we went back and forth. That's when they started with 50K, and I said I don't have, and it went a lot of back and forth before we could finally agree on the amount. So
Where did
that
they land
helped.
eventually?
10K.
10K.
Yes.
50K all the way down to 10K.
Yes, because I was not giving up, and I didn't have 50K to give. And then when they say 50K, you have to have the cash, right? So it's not like they don't take credit card for that first order, so it has to be in cash.
So for our viewers watching, and they're wanting to know how they can support you guys more, what would you suggest?
Again, just come in, buy the stuff, that we have, without trying to get some discount. Help us, spread the word within the community, with your friends and family. The more we sell, the more we're able to sell things at a lower cost, which is our goal eventually. Because
Yeah.
when we buy in volume, we get it at lower cost, and we're always adjusting prices in here anyway. So if we get it cheaper, we also adjust the price down. And of course, if the price is higher, so we constantly adjust our prices. We're not here to get rich quickly off of people, so they need to understand that we are just trying to feed our family as well, and help the community, provide an environment where they actually can feel welcome and come in, and find people that actually look like them and know more about the product and can advise them on what they need or help them solve whatever concerns they have.
Awesome.
I would say I would just ask the customers to see us as their very first decision in buying
Right.
their beauty products. When you want something, just say, you know what, there's a black store there, whether if it's like an extra mile down the road, let me go there and let me support them. Because you making that decision and you come and spend your money with us, you're putting us in a position to be here, to have the products that you need and at the price that you wish you can pay for it. Because the more you support us, the more our business turns over. That's when we can go to our the manufacturer, we can leverage that cash flow that we're having right now because frequent purchases. So then we can get better pricing and you can come and get your items at a lower price and be satisfied about it. And the more you support us, you're supporting your community. We're here to build the community. We're not just here to take your money. So I would say just keep supporting us. If you go today and the item is like 25 cents more, okay. I mean, it's 25 cents. Yeah, it's your hardworking money. But think about what we have to do, because there is no secret about the black beauty supply business. They may not know that all the challenges that we have, but being a black person with business is already like one strike against us. So we do have a lot of challenges, and give us some time to work through the challenges, but we can only do that if you are consistent in supporting us.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining the conversation into the world of Black beauty. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.
All right, all right. I am so happy that we were able to show this episode tonight. If you guys like this episode, drop me some hearts, some fire emojis, give me some likes. I thought this conversation was actually really, really, really powerful. I feel like we haven't had a publicized conversation about the Korean takeover, how it started. I want y'all to pay attention to the very beginning part of this, and you're probably gonna have to watch the replay to catch how this all happened. Because in order to get started in beauty supply, you need to know and understand the history about this Korean takeover. So if you didn't catch it, if you didn't catch what I said in the beginning, I schooled y'all on how this all happened. Everyone needs to know about this history, especially if you're about to open a store. Watch the replay. So many gems were dropped. This was such a gem of an episode. Please, if y'all watching on the Retail Genius page, you should be able to share this. I want you to share this episode with all of your beauty supply friends, all of your beauty supply groups, everyone. It don't even have to be in beauty supply. I think everyone should know this information, right? So that they can be educated to even support a Black owned beauty supply store, even if it is 5 miles further out from their local beauty supply store, even if it's more expensive, all of the excuses, right? We want people to support us anyway. So I want y'all to share this episode. I don't ask y'all to share every episode, but if you're going to share an episode, let it be this one. Let it be this one. Share this episode. If you guys go to the Retail Genius page, you can't share it from a private group, but if you go to the Retail Genius page, which is the public business page, okay, Beauty Supply Bootcamp, you should be able to share this episode. I want y'all to share this episode. It's called The Korean Takeover, and it is episode 7. Okay. You can go and watch this on your own if you go to theconvo.tv. Theconvo.tv. You can watch it. There's a whole bunch of other shows on there, all Black owned conversations, Black owned everything. This is a show that was founded by my coach and mentor, Lamar Tyler. This is his channel, and he was so gracious to have me as a host of the show called The Black Beauty Takeover. So go ahead and watch the replay. A lot of gems was dropped in this episode. So much good stuff, right? And again, share this. So guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, we are shutting down registration for the Beauty Supply Bootcamp weekend that is happening in Atlanta, Georgia next month, April 27th through the 29th. If you didn't get your tickets, get it now. We have payment plans available. Go to beautysupplybootcampweekend.com, and I will see you guys next Thursday as we continue to go through all of these episodes of the Black Beauty Supply Takeover. Have a good night, y'all.